Hey there, Internet. I'm Annie.
I'm Kit.
And this is the JEM JAM, where we do an episode-by-episode recap of the 1980s cartoon Jem and the Holograms, because it is truly outrageous. Except that is not at all what we are doing today, actually. We have a bit of a special episode for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. So, Kit, do you remember when we went and saw the Jem movie, and you said that if it had been a fan film, it would have been commendable?
I remember saying that, yes.
Yeah, well, it turns out there's actually a commendable fan film that is being made, and it's being Kickstarted right now. And to talk about a little, we actually have a couple of guest stars today. Say hello, guys.
Hi, I'm Clare.
Hello, guys. I'm Charley. We are the producers of Truly Outrageous, a Jem fan film. We're also the producers and writer of Jem Reacts, which was a sketch we put up when the first trailer came out in reaction to the live-action movie.
So this is a pretty cool looking project. Tell us a little bit about Jem Reacts, because that was sort of what launched this whole thing for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think we all had a similar reaction, or a lot of fans had a reaction when they saw that live action trailer, just because, you know, Jem is a lot of things, but Jem isn't boring. And I found the trailer to be kind of boring and dull. You know, it kind of just broke our hearts a little bit. And not to say that it didn't work for a lot of people, because there's definitely a lot of people who saw that
love
and
the
loved
movie
it,
out there, and it means a lot to them in different ways, and we don't want to take away from that at all.
So yeah, I think I texted Charley and was just like, we have to do something. And then,
There was a call to action.
There was a call to action, and she came up with this brilliant reaction video, which is kind of a similar format that you see on YouTube a lot. You know, people will react to trailers. So she had the brilliant idea of taking Jem, live action Jem, and having her react to her own trailer.
Her and all her friends and all her frenemies and all her enemies. She invited them all to a party, and they all were going to watch the trailer together, and they don't know exactly what to say, but they have a lot to say.
Definitely. And I think she spoke, through Jem for a lot of the fans, saying, just a lot of things that we were thinking, like, for example, Christy Marks wasn't informed of anything that was happening in the film. And you could kind of feel that in the trailer, like right away. None of the lore was there. None of the relationships were there very strongly. And
yeah, the disappointment was definitely kind of maybe even a little bit before the trailer, because I knew that the major players were dudes. I don't think dudes can't make female properties well, but I think what Christy Marks set up was such a female-friendly writer's room, and a lot of the directors were women, and it just had that sensibility that is really, really hard to do, but not impossible, but really hard to do. And I've heard John Chu is a big fan, and the legend is that he has been asking, or had been asking, to do the movie for a very long time. But it seemed like they didn't want to give him either the movie he was pitching and wanted to do, or just wouldn't give him the funding, because $5 million is not a lot, especially compared to Transformers, which got, I think, the net income of all of Australia. This is a funny thing, and I'm actually glad we're bringing it up at the top, because I'm just only the tiny bit frustrated, because I listened to another podcast before we interviewed, talked about us on their podcast, saying like, for $12,000, they think they can do much with that, and rah, rah, rah. But we are asking for $12,000 minimum, and minimum for a part one of a part one and part two story.
It takes money to do something good.
Yeah, and that level, for sure.
At that level. And we have a lot of, things that we want to play with, and costumes and music. Like, we want to put up to 3.5 songs in the first,
with green screen and special effects, which we've worked with before. And like, Claire and I have been producers doing YouTube videos for companies, not just Creature Tubes. So we know budgets, and we know how to stretch it. We didn't mean to talk about our Kickstarter campaign so soon into the podcast.
Well, that's cool. This is actually a pretty decent time to move ahead with that. So part one and part two, this is about 12 minutes each is what you're looking for?
Just about. It's more 15, I'd say. I'd say it's a pure 30-minute story. There's a cliffhanger, and what we're worried about is that people will feel like, cliffhanger, we want part two. So hopefully we won't have to do that. But we don't want to stretch a $12,000 budget to cover both sides, when I think that'll do it a disservice and it won't be as fun.
Jem Reacts was definitely made sort of in relation to the movie, but this is a wholly original piece. And unlike the 2015 Jem reboots, the comic and the movie, this one is set in the 80s. Am I right?
Yeah, and we do love the comic, and I think the comic is proof that you can update Jem as a concept, and you can pitch that to a younger generation and have them love it.
You don't even have to put YouTubers in it.
No.
You'll still like it.
Wait, Claire, we're putting a bunch of
I know,
YouTubers
right?
in
But yeah, she's right. It's a way to update it, but still keep a lot of the original and lovely, storylines and properties that.
But we wanted to do the story and to differentiate and separate ourselves from both the comic and the movie. Mm-hmm. And a great way to do that is put it in the 80s and really enjoy sort of the creative and the aesthetic that involves, the fashion, the music, the wigs, the history going on at the time. It's all so fun. Like we both were born in the 80s. We didn't really get to experience it, and we're really excited to play in that creative sandbox.
Yeah, we were talking a little earlier, and you guys were saying that that Rhea's wig takes like 3 people by the time it's done to actually lift the thing.
It's a glorious weave.
So that's about how 80s we're getting then.
The taller the hair, closer to God.
Higher the hair, closer to
Rhea's
God.
On a first name basis with God. That's how high Rhea's wig is.
Our stylist is coming back from the first video we did. She's amazing. We get to actually pay her this time. She just for the first video, she just brought over a ton of stuff, and we sort of hodgepodge stuff together. But actually having her utilize her talents to the full extent is just so exciting to
Kind of seamstress to make the stuff. We want to do some direct recreations from the cartoon too.
So it sounds like you guys are ridiculously 80s, but one of the most ridiculous things about the 80s was, of course, the music. Tell us a little more about what you guys are doing on the project with that.
For the last episode, we used one of my personal friends, Daniel Anderson, who has a one-man band called Glowbug, which is really just fun 80s.
Synth heavy, like definitely a modern take on the 80s for his music, but the perfect person you want to musically get in bed with for a project like this.
It was actually a really fun collaboration because Charley wrote the lyrics, and then April F., who plays our Stormer, was the voice.
She's Stormer, but
it.
She's the voice of Jem.
Exactly.
People don't realize.
Confusing. It blends pretty well.
So within a day, we made it happen where I wrote the lyrics, we gave it over to April to sing the vocal track, and then gave it to
Daniel, who's just a wizard, just really whipped it up. I think he did it in 2 tries, and we loved it. So in their next one, we have 3 songs, which is a little bit more ambitious.
3.5.
3.5, yeah.
The full 4th song will be on the cassette or the download.
And that's 3.5 in part 1, part 2, or both of them?
Part 1. Part 2 will have, I think, a solid full 4 songs. We want to put the extra song there. That's what our full budget will take care of. But the songs are not just recordings of the songs are music videos. And for some of these concepts to work out, it's just going to depend.
The effects on the music video is honestly where a lot of that money goes quick, because you want to get somebody that does it really well. We called in a favor for the last one, and he did a wonderful job, and we were very, very happy with it. But you only get one of those. You know?
How are we going to get Jem and Rio on a unicorn if we don't have the right guy or gal on it?
So are these going to be mostly Jem songs? Do we have Misfit songs in there, which are better?
Yeah.
You are talking to Pizzazz, so she appreciates it. We definitely have a Misfit song.
Is there a Stinger song?
I'm going to sneeze once for yes, twice for no. Yeah, obviously there is a Stinger song, but that is in part 2.
I see. I was going to ask exactly when in sort of the Jem timeline you're putting this whole thing. So this is around season 3 then?
I would say spring of 88. This is right before the final episode where everyone comes together and sings that final song.
Is this after Riot's Hope then? The one where Riot has the daddy reconciliation?
Yeah. Jem at the peak of her power. It's going to be a little, I will say it's a little off timeline. There are some things that we'll probably never see in Jem proper, starting off the film. We're respectful of canon, but we're not going to be slavish.
I noticed in Jem Reacts, I did not see Tech Rat. Where is our son? Is he involved?
I really wanted our friend Steven Sufdick to play Tech Rat. He almost has the exact same hair. I think we can convince him to do it. He's written into part 2.
So Tech Rat is a stretch goal then.
Yes.
One thing that I wonder is I'm an English major. Jem's writing style is unique, to to kind of say the least. What's it take to really hone in on that particular brand of ridiculousness?
I would say it's a convergence of the voice used in the cartoon and my own. It's different. It's definitely going to be different.
I could tell when she was watching a lot of episodes
Oh my
over and
God.
over because she just had her vocabulary dropped a few octaves.
I'd say, okay, so besides the cartoon obviously being an example of where we want to take the voice, we love Josie and the Pussycats, the movie version. It's way more subversive than I think anyone really remembers it being. And I'd also say a little bit of Scott Pilgrim. I keep saying it's just a little bit meta. I don't think we're dwelling too much in the meta-ness. It's also very sincere. And the relationships that are in the script are really, they're very sincere and beautiful. And there's a lot of sisterhood. I think romance takes a little bit of a backseat, but that won't be missing. It's definitely about the relationships between the women.
How are you dealing with the Rio problem?
Again, it's hard to not spoil anything, but I think I definitely have fun with Rio being, let's go with useless. We have a couple actors we're auditioning for the part, but I think between them, they're you'll love them. They're so good.
They're very good looking.
Very good looking. But they're also exactly what you would hope, I think, out of a Rio.
So this isn't entirely the cast from the Gem Reacts video then?
No, and a lot of that, there's a lot more involved with this. There's a little more, with a sketch, you want the best comedians. And for this, we want comedians, but we also want people who can act out the more emotional beats. And also for Rio, the guy he wasn't deported, was he?
He got deported.
He did get deported. He got deported.
We could say that.
Our poor kid.
He's lovely. I mean, he's
Sweet guy.
Yeah, sweet guy, but he had to go back to Canada for about a year. Yeah, but we do have a lot of people from the original coming back, such as Chloe, who's still our Gem. Eric Raymond is still going to be our friend Gabe, because I thought he was
Gabe
pretty.
Buskus.
He was pretty perfect, I think, for that part. He was
great.
so funny.
Our Yasmin Monet Watkins is coming back as Shayna. Definitely check her link on our Kickstarter. She does spoken word poetry and is amazing. She's a genius. We just announced the lady playing Dance Dvorak in our video, Natalie, a zombie unicorn, is coming back as Rhea instead, because we love her so much. We think she can have a bigger part and kill it and be hilarious, and we're so excited to see what she does with it.
And we have another casting announcement coming shortly.
We have 2 big casting announcements this week that we're really excited about. When I first started thinking about the story, a lot of me wanted to discuss the strange love triangle that they made out of this show. When I think I read Christy Marks said that she wanted to resolve that after the first season, and they just kept going with it.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that. That would make so much sense.
I like to think that if Christy could have had her way, they would have resolved that and their relationship would have been stronger for it.
Charlie, I think you mentioned wanting to use some of the sci-fi elements more on the script. So what are your opinions then on the hologram rules, as tenuous as they are?
In terms of holograms, I definitely think I do a good mix of where it's like a little absurd. It definitely will strain credibility of what actual science could do. Synergy is in there, and Synergy has a definitely very specific role to play here. It'll be more than just holograms. We'll say that. Emmett's been up to more than just holograms. That's the biggest reveal I'll give on your podcast.
Oh, that's a hook. I like that.
Great.
No one else. You got a scoop. No one else knows that.
Got the scoop. I'm getting the Pulitzer. So, you mentioned for the Gem Reacts video, some of that stuff was for free, but that you're actually paying folks this time around. Is that sort of going around, you're just actually making sure that everybody on the project actually has some kind of compensation for this whole thing?
Yes, that is so important to us, because we've been content creators on the platform for a while now, and so much of it is favors unless you're backed by somebody. So actually being able to pay people for their talents is just, it feels so good after asking for so many favors to showcase people and let them thrive with actual materials and, funding for their art.
Give back, because they so deserve it.
They're so talented. All these people that just out of passion and wanting to jump on board with us offered us their talents and services. Every all the makeup, the incredible makeup we got was virtually free. I think we just paid her a kit fee.
Yeah.
And she did unbelievable makeup on
we didn't
every
pay Jade,
single
who put
person.
the costumes together.
Yeah.
None of the actors.
or the music,
or the sound.
The sound and the camera. We got a whole camera crew for free. We shot that thing on a red. We got these people to work for free. So just being able to give back will feel really good.
That is spectacular. That is an attitude that I can really get behind. It is definitely hard to actually have people do passion projects and be able to pay them for it.
Yeah, thank you so much for allowing us to be on the JEM Jam. I think what you're doing is so cool.
And your community behind JEM is just one that, you know,
they're cool.
The JEM community has been so nice. Everybody is so great.
And supportive and happy and sweet. And yeah, you've got a lot of people who are on either side of like, I really love the movie or I really hated the movie. But I think we can all agree this is something that needs to continue on for generations. This is a story that, it's campy. Some of the things in the show, it's hard to, I think, explain to a certain brand of people. But for those of us who get it, it's so fun.
I definitely think that's been one of the best parts of doing the JEM Jam, has been meeting people who also get it in the same way that we get it, and finding the people that also see it in a different way, and sort of comparing and contrasting with that. It's been spectacular.
And it's such a beautiful range. I saw some vloggers talk about how JEM helped them come out, how JEM helped them talk to their parents, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that is so special.
It's a lot of things to a lot of people, and we feel a great responsibility to be that in that same wavelength, to give it justice, to have fun with it, and to put on a good show.
So, like, before we wrap this up, I do have a couple of basic questions for you guys. Best JEM character?
Pizzazz!
Stop. Biased.
She's just so funny.
I love, we didn't have Rapture and JEM Reacts, but I love Rapture. I think she's hysterical.
What would you guys say is the best song in JEM?
Totally missed the point.
That's our song.
No, I'm joking.
Cheap answer, but I can accept it.
So the one that was in my head the most is the bands break up, I'm okay song with Kimber and Stormer. And I think it's just it just motivated me through the rest of the seasons that I'm okay.
I agree. That's definitely a catchy song. My favorite part is definitely the incredibly robust voice that comes out of Kimber's mouth.
You're so totally right. It was definitely a surprise.
What would you say is your best episode? What would you say is your favorite?
Mine's easy. Like I've been repeating it up and down. Out of the Past had the most story to it. You learn the most. I just thought it was the most interesting episode.
I still find that incredible that one came so late in JEM production.
I don't even think Christy wrote that one. I'm sure she had a heavy hand in the story of it, but I don't think she wrote it. But it's so good. I have a lot of respect for that episode.
All right, so I think that actually wraps it up for us. Thank you guys so much for coming on. This project sounds spectacular. Dare I say outrageous.
You dare. You must. Thank you so much for having us. We had such a blast.
Thank you so much.
Obviously, we have had some technical difficulties on here. Kit actually dropped out a little bit ago. We'll see if she keeps this part of the audio in. You guys should absolutely check out this Kickstarter. Back it if you can. Spread the word if you can't. Whatever you want to do. It's the same sort of thing with our Patreon. Spread the word of outrageousness, because this sounds like a great project.
Thanks so much.
So too.
I think that about wraps it up for us here on the JEM Jam. The JEM Jam comes out every Sunday on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter and Tumblr. We are at the JEM Jam just about everywhere except Twitter, where we are at JEM Jam Cast. We're also a Patreon-supported podcast. If you like what we do and you have a couple bucks sitting around, you can donate those to us, and that would be super cool. If not, spread the word. No matter what, we love you all dearly. I love this fandom. So until next time, I'm Annie.
I'm Kit.
And this has been the JEM Jam. We'll remind you that outrageousness is money.